goes to my next question to you. Like, is there any singles goals that you have in New Japan? Because of course, KES, Killer Elite Squad, one of the most dominant tag teams, in New Japan over the past 5-6 years or so. But Lance Archer as a singles competitor, what are some short-term goals, or just have you ever really have you thought about that recently, about a singles career in New Japan?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, KES has had an amazing run, and it's been 7 years, really, since KES has been together with 3 IWGP Tag Team Champions, 2 NOAH GHC Tag Team Champions, 2 NWA World Tag Team Champions. So we've had an amazing run as a tag team, but I think it's one of those situations where, especially for whatever, like I said, my match with Ospreay was one of those eye-opening matches for a lot of people. I knew I could do that, but it was just, I was never really put in that position. And once I was, and the outcome of it, like I said, even though I lost, for a lot of people it was like, oh, well, look what he can do even as a singles worker, as a wrestler. So yeah, for me, I would love for a real opportunity as a singles competitor to get a chance at, whether it's the Never title, the U.S. title, the IC title, and I absolutely believe I could be a heck of an IWGP heavyweight champion.
Absolutely.
But it's just a point of the company having the faith to put me in that position. And I'm not above earning to get there. So if it needs to start with the Never and move on up to the U.S. and then move on up to the IC and then move on up to the IWGP heavy title, I'm game for it. But they have to actually give me a chance to put me in those positions.
And
if that happens, I don't know, but I believe I've proved myself, and I hope it'll happen.
Yeah, I agree. And man, when you say Never championship, I could just think about Archer versus Jeff Cobb, Archer versus Hiroki Goto, Archer versus Tomohiro Ishii. Like, to me, those matches, just the very sound of them, it's like a hard-hitting brawl that would just really cause some excitement in a match. So I on paper, to me, count me in. I'm a fan of those matches, even the thought of those matches. So I think that would be great. Yeah, I think those matches would be great. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, is there anybody, speaking of singles, is there anyone in the New Japan currently that you would like to, kind of start? If you had a choice to have a singles feud, who would it be against right now?
Well, I mean, I would go straight to the top, and that'd be Okada.
There you go.
That would happen because of who he is and where he's at, and who I am and where I'm at right now. That's a whole other question. But one I would love to have an opportunity to have kind of a good feud with, somebody that I'd love to have more than one opportunity to get step in the ring with on a single situation, would be Tanahashi. I think him and I are around the same age range. He's obviously always been considered the ace of New Japan. He's one of those guys that if I step in the ring with, I'm automatically going to be paid attention to, and once we deliver in a way that nobody truly expected it to come from him and I together, I think it would just help set me up into a new platform.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he would be somebody I would love to have some really strong and fun matches with.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. I like what I hear, man. I like this idea. I like this thought of, and the thing is, it doesn't have to, and a lot of times when people go on singles, people think that is the end of their tag team if they're an established tag team. If you a singles run from Lance Archer in New Japan doesn't mean the end of Suzuki-gun or the end of KES. It just means that you're just branching out and extending your career. Yeah. So, yeah, I like that idea.
I mean, and I think if you talk to Smith, he'd probably say a lot of the same things right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And speaking of Smith, he's killing in MLW as part of the Hart Foundation, man. What are your thoughts on that?
Good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think that's I think it's a really good branch for him too. To be a part of that, and it fits well. As far as the Heart Foundation is concerned too. Yeah, absolutely. So, any goals? I mean, we talked about your singles career. Any real quick before we promote some upcoming events. Any short term goals that you can think of? You just was just a part of that big New Japan Cup, and got some big New Japan events coming up as well that we'll talk about. Any specific goals that you have in mind?
I mean, are you talking about wrestling specific or anything different?
Both.
With wrestling, it's just always continuing to advance myself. I think my whole career has been trying to prove people wrong and surprise people continuously. I'm coming up on 19 years in the wrestling business. I think there's probably a lot of people surprised that I would still be at a high level competing the way I have been for this long. I'd like to continue to prove people wrong and continue to surprise them and continue to succeed in this business in ways that no one else believed I could.
Yeah.
I think that kind of pushes and makes me strive to be something bigger and better. And you were talking earlier about our faith and whatnot, and I've really started to try to be stronger in the idea of allowing God's will to be done. And if that's His will as far as wrestling is concerned, I'm going to strive to be my best at it. If it's not, I'm going to strive to be my best at whatever He pushes me in whatever direction.
Love it.
It's hard to accept sometimes because humans, we're prideful and we have our desires and we think this is the direction we want to go, but understanding the direction He wants us to go sometimes is harder to see and understand, and even more so to accept. And I'm trying to become better at accepting what path I'm supposed to be on. But I understand also my job is to do the best for myself and prepare myself for whatever is ahead of me.
100%, man. I love it. I love it, man. That's
it's hard to do, man.
Yeah. Every time, when anybody talks about faith, man, it lights me up. But, but I agree with you though, man. I think you bring a really, really good point as far as just, sometimes there's doors that open that we weren't even thinking of. You know what I mean? And that's that we just walk right into because it's His plan, and so His plan is the best. And I 100% agree with you with that. So, Mo is asking. So we got a couple questions before I let you go, if that's fine with you, Lance.
Okay.
Got some live
sure.
Some live Q&A going on. We got Mo asking. So it's hashtag Ask Archer. Hashtag Ask Archer. And Mo is asking, so you were, of course, you're a Vance Archer in WWE, mainly in ECW. Any desire to have a WWE career again?
I've had that question asked so many times, and it's always one of those questions I answer like this: you never say never. Mm-hmm. If and when the right opportunity presented itself and fit, where I was at and what I was trying to accomplish, absolutely. It's just one of those things that right now I'm extremely happy with New Japan. I'm not actively trying to go back to WWE. I'm actively trying to become the best I can be in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I truly see New Japan Pro Wrestling as the best professional wrestling in the business. And right now, the second largest company in the world, growing very quickly and very bigly. It's got a nearly 50-year-old history. So, unless WWE came hunting me and offered me something that, an offer I couldn't refuse type situation, I'm saying that right now in New Japan it's my focus. I'm really hoping that, I'll be a part of the G1 Climax that starts in Dallas, Texas this year on July 6th, in fact, and be able to continue to prove myself as somebody that New Japan can give me the ball and let me run with it in a way they never thought I'd come.
Certainly. Joe is asking, so what are your thoughts about your WWE run overall? I always thought you were very underrated during your time. Thank you for taking my question.
It wasn't a very good one. I understand there's probably a lot of factors to why it wasn't any good. it was what it was. I think, I always say if ECW had actually stuck around longer, I think it would have given me an opportunity to really establish myself within the WWE universe, to find myself and my confidence within their programming, and given me a better chance to be successful as a whole. But, they did shut the ECW program down and start the original NXT, not the version everybody knows today, but the original version. And then, I was kind of put on the shelf and then randomly brought back in a tag team, which was a good tag team, me and Kurt Hawkins at first, but we were kind of just at a point where the company was focusing on different people and different things and going into SummerSlam, and so we just kind of got put on the back burners until the point of we weren't used really anymore, and then ultimately it led to my ending of times with WWE. Like I said, probably there's some factors that fall on myself, and there's factors that fall on WWE, but it's just one of those things. The timing wasn't great. It didn't work out. It was what it was. I have some good memories. I made some good friends. Heck, I got to wrestle at WrestleMania. I put the boots on and wrestled in the pre-show Battle Royal, which has now kind of become the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. But, I had that opportunity to do that, to walk out in front of the 70,000 fans in Phoenix, Arizona, and something, not everybody gets to do. So I appreciate all the amazing cool moments and the friends that I made while I was there, but unfortunately it just wasn't a very good one.
Yeah, I think that was well said. I think pretty much wraps that up for sure. Ryan's asking, ask Archer if offered a deal, would you join AEW?
Again, kind of the same scenario with WWE. It's one of those situations where I'm not actively searching anything out because I'm very happy where I'm at with New Japan. But it's one of those situations also that if the AEW came at me and offered me a contract in a situation, in a deal that in a sense I couldn't refuse, then you never say never in this business. So I think I would be an amazing asset for AEW as a monster, as that big man that can come in and wreck house in a way that maybe AEW doesn't necessarily have right now. It's still a new company. It's still going to find its own identity. But I believe that if and when they wanted to add the American Psycho Lance Archer to that fold, it would be a benefit to AEW in every sense of the word.
Certainly. Allie's asking, ask Archer, are you satisfied with what you've accomplished? Also, you are awesome and love what you have done.
Ask that one again, please.
So the question and then a comment. So the question is, are you satisfied with what you have accomplished? And the comment is, you are awesome and love what you have done.
I'm very proud of what I've actually accomplished. Like I said, I don't think there's a lot of people that thought I'd be around for 19 years and at a high level. I've always worked really hard, and like we were talking earlier, when one door closes, another one can open, and that's happened several times in my career, but that wasn't without me doing everything I could to help those situations come about. So I'm very proud of my opportunities and things I've had a chance to do. Like I said, wrestling around the world, making a living at what I enjoy and love doing, working with some of the biggest names in the business and the biggest companies in the business, from my time at TNA to WWE to especially what I've done in the last, coming up on 8 years in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
As a foreigner, which is really a strong point for a lot of people. Not a lot of guys have been able to exist in a company, especially New Japan, outside of the U.S. for as long as I have. So, yeah, I'm absolutely proud of what I've accomplished and hope that I can actually still accomplish much more, improve much more. So, and I appreciate the comment. I appreciate the support and love.
Yep, absolutely. All right, a couple more guys. Multi's asking, what was your favorite thing about being in WWE? I think he kind of covered that about WrestleMania and being in Phoenix and things like that. Any other thoughts on that?
Like I said, I made some really cool friends while I was there. I learned a lot because it's hard not to learn so much in the business when you have some of the biggest, best minds, from the Fit Finleys to the Arn Andersons to the Tom Pritchards to the Norman Smileys to the Dusty Rhodes to the list goes on. And if I've left anybody out, I apologize, because there were so many great minds of the wrestling business and the history that exists there. to be able to actually sit down and learn under those umbrellas of knowledge was a really cool experience. And like I said, getting to be a part of WrestleMania and
Yep.
Travel the world and just do the things that I've been able to do, even with WWE, the biggest company in the world. So like I said, I wish it would have been a better run, but I still enjoyed my time and what I was able to do. Well
said. Cody's asking, who is your favorite tag team to wrestle in New Japan?
Oh, to fight against. Again, so many great tag teams. And this question I usually answer if somebody asks with Tenzan and Kojima, Tenkozy, just because, when KES first started, they were on top. They're a legendary tag team in all of New Japan history and all of Japanese wrestling history, actually. And they're kind of the ones that helped establish KES, the Killer Elite Squad, as a top tag team in all of professional wrestling, especially with New Japan. We probably had between the IWGP and the NWA tag titles, I would say we had at least 7 pay-per-view title matches against them, and then the countless number of live events where we wrestled them, whether it was straight tags or multi-person tags or whatever the case was. So the amount of respect I have just being able to step in the ring with legends like that, and then, the matches that we were able to have with them, probably my best memories as far as tag team wrestling is concerned is working against Tenkozy.
Nice. All right, P and Peanut Gallery. We'll wrap it up there. I'll give you one more comment here before we plug some events that you got coming up and a ticket that you have as well. Joe is saying hope to see you back there someday, Lance. You're a performer worthy of that big stage. He's talking about WWE.
Thank you.
Yep. But you're killing it in New Japan. So speaking of killing it, you got some merch. You got some. You got a new T-shirt that recently came out, right?
Well, I'm teasing. The sign hasn't been released yet, so waiting, but it's about to drop.
Nice. Where can they find you to get some merch and also follow you as far as upcoming events as well?
Right. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram are the 3 social medias I use. All of them are under my real name, Lance Hoyt. Like I said, there's several events coming up. One of them that I'm excited about is the return of Wrestle Circus, one of the premier independent wrestling companies around the country and the world. They took some hiatus because they had a kid and some other things, but they're coming back on May 12th, and then obviously the G1 Climax debuting in Dallas, Texas on July 6th. I'm excited about that. But like I said, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram are the 3 main ones. If you're looking to grab some T-shirts of your own, obviously Pro Wrestling Tees, ProWrestlingTees.com/Lance Hoyt. Check it out. I think they actually have a little bit of a sale going on right now. There's some of my own shirts and Killer Elite Squad shirts, and then check it out, hit it up, send me a message, say what's up.
Nice. And you got a ticket for sale too for the G1?
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the Dallas area or really anywhere in Texas and you want to hit me up, send me a private message. Like I said, my Twitter DMs are open, so is my Facebook. Please be respectful, but if you are looking for G1 tickets and you don't want to go through Ticketmaster, I do have some tickets. They aren't floor or front row or anything like that. They're just the main bowl that surrounds the floor, but I do have some tickets, and you don't have to deal with Ticketmaster and all the ticket fees and all that stuff.
Awesome. Lance, it's always a pleasure, man. It's always an honor for you to come on my show. You're cemented in the Pancakes and Powerslams history books, and I was thinking about having a PNP Hall of Fame come July, and I'm gonna give you a spoiler, man. You're one of the first inductees in the Pancakes and Powerslams Hall of Fame.
Well, I'm very proud and honored.
Awesome, man. Thanks for coming on again, Lance. Appreciate you. Have a good night, man.
I appreciate you. Have a good night as well.
Bye-bye. Lance Archer, my guy, Lance Archer, man. I appreciate you being on the show tonight. Awesome time with my guy, Lance Archer, man. Lots of fun with Lance. All right. All right. So let's start. Let's get it on here. As you can see with the PNP Nation, there's upgrades. Of course, we always want to upgrade, and of course, as you see, we got some more fun upgrades on the Pancakes and Powerslams show. Why do I do these things? Why do I want this to be the most interactive and fun show in all of pro wrestling podcasting? It's a really, really simple answer. And, you know, this is the answer.
I do it for you.
Absolutely. I do it for you, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I do what I do, because I do it for you. All right. So we got to talk about tonight. I hope y'all enjoyed the Lance Archer interview. Sports Huddle says, missed a few weeks, now things looking all new. Well, that's my Road Warrior animal there. Road Warrior Hawk. Well, you know, all these, I want to be, you know, the most interactive pro wrestling podcast in all of professional wrestling. So I like to have fun with my pea and peanut gallery, and I really love it. Yes, absolutely, Mo. Absolutely. Thanks, Allie. Appreciate it, man. Multi, check out. Good question. Ask Chris in my interview next week. I will make that announcement probably this weekend or the beginning of next week. So, so stay tuned. Of course, ask Chris. Allie, man. Allie, appreciate you coming on the show. Looks like you're just jumping right in. Everybody give Allie some love. Allie loves some love. I don't recall you being on the chat, but you're part of the family. You're jumping right in, and appreciate all your interaction. So everybody give Allie some love. This is the PNP Nation. This is the, of course, the Pancakes and Powerslams show. The awesome fans. It's called the PNP Nation, and the chat room is called the Pea and Peanut Gallery. So you know, you'll have some fun. Ali said, I've been here more than once, but usually quiet. Well, I appreciate you speaking up this week, Ali, and really appreciate it. Of course, the awesome faithfuls, GHP, Multi, Tammy, Joe, Ryan, Cody, Huddle, Wild Boy. Wild Boy's one of the OGs. Lexi's one of the OGs, too. I saw Lexi in here somewhere, too. Appreciate you. Of course, Mo's an OG, too. James, looks like new, but appreciate you coming on, too. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Of course, my boy Evan Tech Proud is on the chat room, too, is under the mat. Speaking of that, let's go. Under the Mat Radio, let's do this. How are you tonight, sir?
Doing all right, man. You know, I was under the weather. Stomach bug got me. Papa Shango came back in the early 90s and gave me the virus that Warrior got.
Oh, man. I wish. I say this every week, and I'm going to say it because I can't do it, man. I wish that's... I wish that I were able to see this show just like WWE clips, man. Because I love it, Wild Boy. OG status, my mom made it. I love it. Mama, there goes that man. Got a little basketball reference there for you. But yeah. I'll answer that question and right quick, GHP here. But the Papa Shango and Ultimate Warrior. Yeah. I remember that time, man. That infamous segment, and I was saying I wish that I could show this, because that was just I was like petrified. Like it was like the Papa Shango gimmick was so awesome. And it really, I was a preteen, like slightly a preteen, I think, around then. And I just loved the gimmick, man. It was like, I hated Papa Shango, which was the point. I was supposed to, because he's a heel. But I remember that Warrior gimmick, that Warrior angle, and I wish I could play a clip, but I can't. I'll probably get pinged for it. But yeah, so when they were feuding, and the Ultimate Warrior's cutting the promo, and I wonder if I can Google. Let me see. I'm gonna Google the promo that he said. I wonder if it's somewhere. I don't know if someone said that. There's all types of videos to it, but I wish there was like a transcript of it somewhere. But yeah, there's just videos that are coming up. But when he was cutting the interview with I don't see a transcript of it yet. But yeah, when he was cutting the promo, and then all of a sudden just the goo came down. Warriors! Warriors! I mean, I was like, there was a real life emotion there, man. I mean, the goo and the voodoo and all that.
This is the thing, man. Is sorry for my voice. I think I hit you up Friday. Friday night I was singing with friends out of town, and y'all seen the skit. That's what I was doing. Stuff, my face wasn't painted. Warriors paint never came off. Right. And anybody that had to do a number 3, you don't throw up like that.
Right.
How do you? And it showed how over the top it was. How do you oversell vomiting? When you gotta go, that's it. You don't shake and then you lean back and you do it again. I mean, that was me.
Yeah, that was the Papa Shango. Yeah, Mo's giving me a so hashtag What's in the Cup. Of course, every year I go, I get a souvenir cup. This year is WrestleMania 35.
You know what?
Here's my 35 souvenir cup here. Cody, you said you lost your WrestleMania cup already? How dare you, Cody? The goo coming down.
Cody, how did you lose your cup?
How did you lose your cup, man? You can. There's a souvenir cup, man. You made the trip, and how can you do it, Cody? Okay, let me answer these Ask Chris questions before they go too far up. So GSP is saying, remember the original Bray Wyatt, Waylon Mercy? Know what I mean? Yeah, yes, I do. I do remember that. I do remember Waylon Mercy, and I always remember. It was weird for me because even as a teenager, I was like following people. That's when it was weird when Goldust came out. But I thought it was a great. We'll talk about Goldust here in a minute. I thought it was weird when Goldust came out because I was like, oh, that's Dustin Rhodes. When Waylon Mercy came out, like he was Dangerous Danny Spivey, Skyscrapers. Like that's what I remember Waylon Mercy. I was like, wow, that's weird because I remember him as Danny Spivey. So it was a weird deal to me when he came out. It looks like they kind of had something on with Spivey, but with the Waylon Mercy, but he got injured and never went anywhere with it. Lexi's asking, ask Chris. Go ahead.
Real quick, I'm actually good friends with Dan Spivey. That's still a big dude, and he has one of the creepiest voices. You talk about iconic voices, Savage, powerful. His voice is so deep and creepy, and that's his regular voice. It's not a work voice. Mm-hmm. It's on someone on the phone, and when I interviewed him last year, met him. That's a big dude. He up there with Beefcake.
Yeah.
Somebody try to sidestep him, he'd knock you out.
Lexi's asking, ask Chris, considering Sheamus is out with a concussion, so you think there's any truth to the rumors surrounding him being forced to retire? Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think same thing with Daniel Bryan. I think that they're very quietly covering they're not really saying anything about that. They're just kind of disbanding the bar. Cesaro going to Raw. Sheamus is 41 now, I believe. Or about to be. Let me check and see. 41, yeah. He's 41. And so, I mean, there wasn't really... Typically that would seem like an age that someone would kind of go away, but there's people who are in their 40s now or 40 and up that are actually starting to really become notarized and keep being champions. And so, I mean, Kofi would be 38 this year. AJ's in his 40s. Samoa Joe will be 40 this year. Cesaro, I think Cesaro will be 40 this year, or 39. Cesaro, I think Cesaro.
Yeah, Roode is up there too.
Yeah, Bobby Roode was born in 78, I believe. Cesaro will be, so he's 38. He'll be 39 this year. Bobby Roode, I believe, is 42, 41. Yeah, he'll be 42 next month in a few weeks. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there'll be Ziggler be 39 this year. So it's crazy that a lot of the talent are pushing the age range. They're pushing 40 or over 40. Joe, like I said, Joe, of course, Mysterio. A lot of the topper talent, mid-card talent is in their 40s or close to it. So yeah, with his injury, with Sheamus's injury, I mean, of course, I think that he's pretty much set for life when it comes to WWE. I think that there's definitely a role for him. He can certainly be like the, a fitness specialist, personal trainer. He's got his own, PT, page. So I think he's pretty much set when it comes to a job, even if it's not wrestling. I mean, he could be a coach, certainly. And there's all types of possibilities for him. So, as far as if he can't wrestle anymore, if he's just not medically cleared. It's unfortunate that it has to end that way, if it is the case. And as far as Daniel Bryan's concerned, they've been very quiet about him, too. He hasn't been, he hasn't appeared since Mania, which was, 3 weeks ago, almost 3 weeks ago. So that was so 2 weeks and some tax, right? So it was the 16 days, yeah. So 2 weeks and 2 days ago. And, it was the 7th, so 2 weeks and, 2 weeks and 2 days, yeah. So, yeah, it's been really quiet, man. And I definitely think that there might be some things that they aren't really telling us when it comes to Daniel Bryan's injury. It's unfortunate because it's been really quiet regarding that. So that might be, I mean that's a little eerie, man. That might be a concussion thing again. Again, this is pure speculation. I don't know. I haven't been told as far as what it is specifically, but it's unfortunate. It's kind of sad if this is the case with this injury, but we'll see. Hopefully it's not career ending, but I can definitely understand why Vince would be very serious and very strict about bringing him back on because of having to go through all the time for the clearance and all that. And so we'll see. We'll see what this. I mean, I was very iffy about the heel gimmick, and I end up liking it a lot. I think if it wasn't for Daniel Bryan being such a strong heel, that would have made Kofi Mania a lot less interesting. I mean, people know I've been a New Day fan since day one, but I think, and I always say this, a good baby face takes a very strong heel. And I think that Daniel Bryan was a very strong heel to dance with Kofi, and I think it really made everything just fit really all together. So, all right, let's see. Any more Ask Chris questions? I see a bunch here. Let's see here. Alexi's asking again, do you think the WWE would grant the release of Luke Harper or realize the value of his talent? Also, do you think he will stall, the WWE will stall Sasha Banks on her contract? So, perfect segue. I think you segued really good last week too, Lexi. You addressed one of those headlines. So, headlines, here we go. Okay, so let's segue to what Lexi was talking about. One of the headlines tonight is Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks actually wanting to hold off on her WWE contract. Meltzer was talking about kind of like what Neville, now Pac, well, he's Pac before he was Neville. Pac did, just wanted to hold out on his contract. And yeah, I mean, she's scheduled for Money in the Bank, so of course that can change because of her status. From what I've heard, there's still some, basically they gave her some time off to think, to kind of have her think about what she wanted to do. I think it's obvious that WWE wants her to stay. I do think that she will be. I've said this before. I commend her for holding out of her contract, for standing up, standing her ground. I appreciate it because they've done such a terrible job with booking her overall. Because I mean, especially from her NXT run. I mean, she was one of the most charismatic people in NXT, and as she goes from that to being grossly underbooked, of course. She was one of the, starting points of the Women's Revolution as far as getting it hot with, I think her and Charlotte feud was one of the biggest things that got the Revolution hot.
Oh, yeah. It was.
But I mean, every time she would win the title, she would have a very short reign. It got to the point where it was like comical. Like they would talk about how, she can't hold, she can't have long reigns. She would lose the title on her first reign and things like that. She never really got to enjoy a long title reign, and so I mean that would make me upset too, especially knowing my potential and knowing that the fans, know she's way over. She's one of the most over people in the WWE. So, yeah.
As I said before. It's like this. Sasha Banks standing her ground, which is good. She can. What have they really been doing with her the past year or so? Same thing with Bayley. Yeah. If you look at the women's division, the tag titles don't mean crap. You just said it. That was a waste. Especially when you got the tag champs that we haven't won the titles, but then they keep losing.
Right.
Marketing wise, Sasha Banks is the biggest when it comes to marketing. Mm-hmm. And merchandise in the women's division today. If you look at the women's division, you've been there with me at Mania. We've been to other WWE events in all cities and all around. What do you see little girls wearing? Sasha Banks boss hats and glasses.
It's boss time!
And honestly, Naomi... I don't miss that, but yeah, and Naomi at some point.
Yep, Naomi, Bayley, and Sasha. Yep.
Charlotte don't sell no merch. Not like Sasha.
Yeah.
Not like Bayley.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
I mean, Sasha, she can sit, collect the check. WWE don't want to lose her because if she go to AEW or go to RH, I mean, that's really going to be a big thing. I mean, do you really care about the women's division right now? I mean, Ronda, she's, thinks she the Terminator, pop-up babies will come right on back. She can't, she unsure. And right now, the women's division, do you really care? I said this before. Becky Lynch is the man. She's the title, but who does she got to really defend it? Who does she have to defend them titles against?
The women's right, Lacey Evans.
I like her. I like her.
I like her look. I just don't. I don't like the fact that they're thrusting her so early. I don't like that. I think they should develop her a little bit more.
She got the best right hand. There's Bobby Eaton and El Dandy. Give it to her. Yes, I use the El Dandy reference.
El Dandy.
Anybody that's not old enough, Google him.
Only at PFP will you hear El Dandy from WCW. Okay, and so to address your other point, Lexi, I do think WWE will grant Luke Harper release. It doesn't seem like they had anything for him. It'll be tough, but I think it'll be like a Dillinger thing. I think they'll grant it to him. Because they don't. I mean, I think that they realize. I think that they already realize the value of his talent. It's just that WWE is so. It's really difficult. It's really difficult to really book all of the wrestlers that they have. If they really stay true to the split, and if they actually gave people opportunities to actually compete in NXT and be stars in NXT, like for instance Apollo Crews, he got drafted to SmackDown and we didn't even see him. Like that, I mean, that just goes to show it. I said last week, I think that he'll just be the same spot from one brand to the next. I mean, it's sad. They have the opportunity to just do really different stuff. Like Cedric Alexander's on Raw. They could have just had Cedric and Apollo Crews come out and just demolish some tag team. You know what I mean? Just something different. But it's just the same old stuff, man. And it's like the same old stuff hasn't worked, so why would you keep the same old stuff? You're just moving people from brand to brand, and there's nothing really different. And we'll talk about Bray. Someone did ask that as a first question too. But overall, just there's not much different about. And the thing is, Bray's been gone for a while, so he was going to be different regardless of the shakeup. The shakeup had nothing to do with the difference of Bray Wyatt. It had nothing to do with the shakeup. I want the shakeup to cause some intrigue, and not much going on with there. So Goldust leaving WWE for AEW. We'll talk about that real quick because I want to show you the tweet. But Vince McMahon getting angry at The Undertaker. Talked about on the Wrestling Observer newsletter how Vince McMahon didn't want The Undertaker to have any dates outside of WWE. And, I mean, so Taker thought that he was pretty much done with WWE, with just period. I mean, like he thought that the what was it, the Saudi Arabia event with him and Kane against DX. He thought that was a crown jewel. That's what it was.
Oh, hit it, Michaels.
Yeah.
Oh, hit it, HBK.
And so he thought that was pretty much. He thought that was it. And so he started to, do appearances for, $25,000, and he had a European tour, supposed to be a part of the talk show and doing some autograph sessions, and Vince, caught wind of that and, wasn't happy that he was doing outside his stuff. Of course, he has the StarCast in May. And so, he was moving on, man. Like he was just being the Undertaker, moving on, using the brand to really capitalize on it, and that's what you do for to keep making money. From what was being said, there was a huge offer to the Undertaker that he couldn't refuse, and now he's back in the WWE fold exclusively, and so he's going to fulfill the commitments of his appearances. I think Foley's taken over the European tour when it comes to the talk shows, but he'll still be there for the autograph sessions. But he's supposed to compete in Saudi Arabia. I think the Backlash pay-per-view is canceled for June, and it's been replaced with the Saudi Arabia event.
The house show now.
Yeah, so the house show I think is supposed to be in Denver, I think. So that's moved. That's been pushed up a week, and then Backlash is canceled, and then the Saudi Arabia event's June 7th, and Taker's supposed to be a part of the Saudi Arabia event. So, I mean, what else could the WWE like? How much can you milk the Undertaker in the WWE from now? Like, what left is there to milk from the Undertaker?
Do a little bit.
I guess so.
Drop the milk.
I guess so, man. He realized it. Yeah, we saw. I mean, I actually like the Shield Fighter chapter. I like that special. I like small 1 hour specials. I don't like the fact that we saw the 80th last match of the Shield. I didn't like that, but I like those little blurbs of WWE Network special events. Like I really like the Japan one they had when Finn Balor went against Kevin Owens. What was it? The Beast in the East or something like that. Let's see. I think it was called Beast in the East. Yeah. Beast in the East. Yeah, here we go. Yep. So that was July 4th, 2015. The card was the main card was Jericho defeating Neville. That was actually a pretty good match. Nikki Bella defeating Tamina and Paige to keep the Divas Championship. It was still the Divas Championship at the time. Lesnar defeating interesting. Lesnar defeating Kofi Kingston in 2.5 minutes. Wow. Just think about what 4 years make. 2.5 minutes squash from Brock against Kofi, and now Kofi's the WWE champ. Finn Balor beating Kevin Owens for the NXT Championship. That was a really good match. And then the main event was Dolph Ziggler and John Cena defeating Kane and King Barrett in almost a 24-minute match. I forgot about that. That was just the most random thing. What type of main event was that? So I mean, I like those specials. I like those little specials.
The specials are cool, but we didn't need to see it for the 999th time.
Yeah, I mean the match. Yeah, we already saw that part. Yeah, yeah, that was.
And that's the thing is they had the Shield go against like Triple H, Shawn Michaels. They had to go against different people or throw a legend in there. Why do we care to watch you against Baron Corbin, Lashley, and whoever?
The same.
And we just saw this on Raw the past 2 months.
Yeah, and I think that was on the pay-per-view, wasn't it? Wasn't that the last Shield match on the pay-per-view? It was the same 3 people? Yeah,
it was the last Shield match on the pay-per-view. Then he did the 2-3 times on Raw. And I'm like, boy, why do we need to watch it again?
Yeah.
And then he did the interview, and I told you, I didn't like Ambrose vibe. I'm big on vibes and auras, and, he kind of left, incognito, knowing I answered to myself. I shut your mouth, Ambrose. Like he just
I mean, I think that was gimmicked, though. I think the WWE wouldn't allow him to do that if it wasn't, so.
That's exactly why
WWE clear all that.
Lesnar squashed you. That's why Brock squashed you at Mania. We were there because your attitude, Ambrose.
Yeah, but I think that interview was cleared, though. I think that was like a gimmick thing. I don't think that WWE allowed him to say that if it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's let's see. All right, so let me read this Goldust thing to you real quick. I'm gonna read this. Let me pull this up real quick, ladies and gents. I'm gonna pull up this tweet here. This tweet here. As soon as we hold on, just let me pull this up real quick. So Goldust is leaving the he's left. He made an announcement that he's left the building when it came to the WWE. And so let's see. Just seen his Goldust goodbye. I'm trying to pull this up here. Give me a minute, nation. Let me pull up this tweet right quick. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. So Goldust is leaving the WWE. Well, he left the WWE. And so here is his tweet here. Pull this up, enlarge this a little bit for y'all. So y'all can read it. Here we go. Here we go. All right, so let me enlarge it so y'all can read it. All right, here we go. So, hello, WWE Universe. To begin, I want to say how much I appreciate you allowing me to entertain you over these long and winding years. Being the son of the legendary Dream has been and will always be an immense honor and blessing to me. And I have always done my best to fulfill his shoes while transitioning into my own. I have had so many ups and downs in our great business, and I've learned from every time that I've fallen down and every mistake that I've made. My life has been an open book for you, fans and friends all over this wide world. You've been there. This sounds like a Hard Times promo, man. I kind of want to do it in a Hard Times gimmick, actually, man. I kind of want to do that. I might actually do that. might gimmick this. All right, so let me actually do this in my Hard Times promo, baby. All right, so here we go. So I've had so many ups and downs in our great business. And I've learned from every time that I've fallen down and every mistake that I've made. Cody says, do it, Chris. My life has been an open book for your fans and friends all over this wide world. You've been there to see my trials and tribulations, and have stuck with me through it all. You've hated me. You loved me. You laughed with me. And you've cried with me. You've immensely enjoyed my antics and my entertainment, and I would like to think that I've done a good job. That I've done my father proud. That I was born straight into the thick of this business. It is and always has been my life, and I've loved every moment of the ride. I want to thank you for the unwavering support that you've given me. Thank you. With that being said, I've been putting my body through quite a bit these last 30 years, and many opportunities that have been presented to me have taken a backseat to my love of wrestling. I've requested my release from WWE, and it's been granted. I'm taking this time to explore some of the many opportunities. Life is too short not to take all the chances you feel driven to take, and I will give this next chapter my full focus and effort. I would appreciate your continued support as I turn this page in my life and go wherever this journey may lead me next. WWE has given me and my family hard times, such incredible years and experiences that I have nothing but respect. Nothing but respect and want for everybody there, everyone there. The roster is stacked with all inspiring talent who want the best and are breaking down all barriers to grab that coveted, elusive brass ring. To WWE and to each and every one of my co-workers, the textile workers, I love you. I appreciate you. And I thank you for loving and taking care of me for so long in these hard times. Keep doing your thing and find you out there. Thank you so very much. And God bless. Remember and never forget the name of Goldust. Till next time. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Hard times.
You got you gotta add the emphasis on the T. Gold.
Yes. Good. Hope y'all liked my my promo there.
Yeah, the bigger the woods, tribulations.
I'm also here to collection plate. Wild Boy said, I love it. Wild Boy said he feel like shouting. I love it. Wild says he's shouting like Rev. Yeah, Kimbo says Chris keeping Dusty alive. You know I do. You know I got to, man. Dusty's my second all-time favorite. I am a huge Dusty mark. Always have, always will be.
Add Dusty to the wrestling church. Vince, Shane, Triple H.
Absolutely. Dusty's the WWE chaplain. Let's see.
Baby.
Okay, so some of these I see Tal says he's Darth Dust now. But I mean, yeah, I think it was an amazing tweet, man. I mean, I think how can you disagree with anything that he said? I mean, he's busted his butt over the past 30 years. He wants to move on. All right. I mean, that's kudos to Dustin Rhodes, man. I mean, you got to give him props, man. People really.
Anybody see the video?
Yeah, people spend so much time. Yeah, I did see the video. People spend so much time continuing to be in the business, and the thing is, Dusty still looks great. Still keeping himself in shape, and he doesn't look. I mean, he looks young. I mean, he can go. And in the past, all the times that he's been in the WWE, as far as just the last matches that we saw, he still can go. And so he's leaving on his own terms, man. That's the best way to do it. And that actually, I mean, when you do stuff like that, man, that strengthens your equity. And I think that strengthens his equity. And to me, that actually, and I saw the video with him, because he'll be facing Cody at Double or Nothing. And I was like, man, like this is, I've been very cautious about AEW, just because of their talent. They're trying to have a big TV look with indie talent. Sans minus the names like Jericho and Kenny Omega. But I mean, to me, I'm like, okay, this is what will intrigue me to actually watch Double or Nothing. Like so far, I mean, as a wrestling fan, I'm gonna watch it, but it's like nothing has really intrigued me to watch Double or Nothing. I've seen Jericho Omega before. I love their match at Wrestle Kingdom, but I don't see Jericho winning. So I'm a Jericho fan, of course. So it's like, hey, I'm excited to see you lose. Of course, I don't. That's not my thoughts when it comes to anything. I mean those are usually my thoughts when it comes to matches. I think Chris Jericho will lose, so it doesn't make me excited to watch his match. But when it comes to what's pulling me, there's a story here. There's an emotional. Dustin was talking now. He has the half paint face with the red and with black, and he said what red represents and what black represents and things like that. And so I really appreciate that stuff, man. And that's the type of stuff that pulls me in as a fan to watch something like AEW. And I think that this is a way to pull in the casual fans too, because the casual fans know who Goldust is. And I think if you that's a good way to really cause that TV feel. Now, of course, Goldust has never been a top star in WWE. He's feuded with the Undertaker. but he's never been a top star in the WWE. But at the same time, his name is big enough to really pull in a casual audience. And I think that's what you need to do. I think you really, especially if there's a TV deal in the works, you have to pull in casual audience. You just have to. So I like it, man. I like everything about it. I think the tweet was fantastic. I like the AEW video that I saw. It was great, man. I think, and if y'all haven't watched, I haven't got any clearance to play the AEW video. I talked to the PR person. I didn't get a chance to talk to her about this. So I'm not gonna play the video. So it's on Cody's Twitter, Dustin's Twitter, AEW. Go to their Twitter accounts and check it out. Go check out that video. It's a really cool video with Dustin Rhodes. All right, so let me address a few of these Ask Chris questions. As I do that, let's pull this up here. Which pay-per-view did Roman Reigns win his first WWE Championship? First question of the night. Which pay-per-view did Roman Reigns win his first WWE Championship in the year? All right, Ask Chris questions. Cody's asking, what do you think about them beating Ricochet already? They could have used someone else to push Robert Roode. I 100% agree with that. 100% agree with that. I don't mind the Robert Roode push, although I wish they were still Bobby Roode, but I don't mind that at all. I mean, he's a heck of a talent, amazing heel, push Bobby Roode, push Robert Roode, whatever. Totally cool with that. But Ricochet, that was a terrible choice to use.
It's
Illuminati
attack. My mic was on mute.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that at all.
Everything happening. Something my in-law would say. You hear cliche. Timing is everything. Met Dustin before, a great dude. I told you I flew back with him to Georgia last year, coming from Mania. And Starcade. Dustin wanted to face Cody at Mania right before he left the first time. Yeah, you remember that? Mm-hmm. He fought hard.
Oh, then they threw that. Didn't they throw that on like Fastlane or something like that?
Something like that. But that's all Dustin wanted, and everything goes full circle. That you got AEW, Double or Nothing. Dustin can leave. And he's like young, old. He's been in the business for over 25 years. But he's still young enough to still get in the ring, but old enough to have knowledge through his dad, you know what I mean, and everything he learned in the ring. Get a chance, watch In the Ring with Dustin Rhodes. And not going to promote the company who does them. Because, we have strict rules on only promoting very few things. But if you watch that, you get to see his mindset, how he learns about psychology or working in the ring. So,
Fastlane 2015. Fastlane 2015 is with the they did throw it on Fastlane. It was Goldust versus Stardust.
Is he like the new Avengers?
I guess so. I love Ricochet, man. He's a great, he's a cool dude. Had him on a show before. I actually just talked to him recently. Really, just doesn't let the business get to him. Really cool dude. I was the best for Ricochet, man, just because he's just a really super cool dude. But unfortunately, I don't know if WWE. I don't like what I see, man. You just can't have Ricochet just go out and lose a singles match. Unannounced, before Raw, no build, no nothing, lose the match. It's just terrible. That's a terrible way to really push a rising star.
He needs strength, because I'm telling you, Ricochet is going to do the cameo, the end game this weekend to help the Avengers defeat Thanos. What is that note? What is he reaching up to? He's like a Power Ranger, some kind of cat planeteer. Come on, Ricochet. That's my man, Prince Puma. You have him to lose the we laugh about the people with hashtagging the pedo stash and the brawny man, Robert Roode mustache. I like Robert Roode. You have him leave like that, Ricochet.
Yeah, that was terrible.
And terrible. And Cedric Alexander to leave to Cesaro.
That's another one. Yeah, that's a. Anymore. Why would you build Cedric Alexander as coming from 205 Live to Raw, and you have I think there was 2 weeks worth of promos. I think there was actually a promo on Raw yesterday before he went against Cesaro. Like, you're building someone up, and no offense to Cesaro, I think Cesaro should have been world champ. Big fan of Cesaro. Why would you have Cedric Alexander lose to Cesaro, who's been in a tag team, who's been ice cold, and beats someone who you're trying to build up? That, booking wise, 0 sense to me. Absolutely 0 sense. And it's like Cesaro, and you have to weigh things out like that. Like, just from a booking committee standpoint, you have to weigh things out like that. Is this Cesaro win more costly than this Cedric Alexander loss? Yes. Is this Cesaro loss more costly than this Cedric Alexander win? No. So you push the person who the stakes are higher. Like, if Cesaro would have lost on Raw yesterday, no harm, no foul, forgettable, so what? You know what I mean? And it's like, but Cedric Alexander, you're pushing him from 205 Live just to lose to someone who's been ice cold. Makes absolutely no sense to me. Some people saying, okay, so what? So the first time that Roman Reigns won his first WWE Championship. Anybody got that? The Multi's asking what I think. So Ryan's asking where's Dolph Ziggler. He's doing stand up, and he was in a recent interview. He said he's still with the WWE, but it's more of a handshake type of thing. So he's just doing his own thing now, pursuing life outside of wrestling. Multi's asking, what do you think of Bray Wyatt's new gimmick? I like it, actually. I it's funny because people were giving me I was getting a swarm of messages yesterday after this, through text, through Twitter, through Facebook messages, and people did not like it. And I was like, you know what? I'm willing to give it some time, man. I saw it, and I was like, what the heck is this? But at the same time, I was like, you know what? Kudos to Bray. He looks a lot better. You know, he's in much better shape than he did before. Kudos to him, man. I mean, I saw the pictures like a few weeks, some weeks back of him getting his hair cut and changing his hair up a bit. And I like it, man. I mean, he looks a lot better. You know, physically, it's different. It's new. You know, people complain about seeing something new. Voila! You know, here you go. I hope they don't crash it. I hope they don't just do nothing with it and just totally stomp all over it. But I'm willing to give it a chance. Lexi's asking, with the WWE's unwritten policy of keeping couples together, do you think that they are helping or actually hurting the talent and brand? Think of the recent roster changes. I think ultimately you're helping, because it's just a really tough. I mean, if you're in a relationship, man, especially if you're married, like Jimmy Uso and Naomi, man, that would be super tough to travel so much. But Raw and SmackDown has different traveling schedules, so I mean they literally, because like on Raw and SmackDown, they still have house shows on. Like they still have like on Raw, they typically have SmackDown house shows on Mondays. So you're in a totally different city, and a lot of times totally different state than your spouse. You know what I mean? So it's tough, and I think it's really cool that people like Aleister Black and Zelina Vega and Naomi and Jimmy Uso are staying on the same brand because it really helps. It helps her. They get to travel together. I mean, I think it helps them. I mean, because it's it really helps their relationship traveling together all the time. And I've said this before, and a lot of wrestlers I've talked to said the same thing. Being married in the wrestling business is very, very, very tough. So yeah, it's the thing, man. So, and I think with this current situation, like for instance, Andrade and Charlotte, there's some rumors that they're engaged. I think that certainly will help them. It's just ultimately it's what the bookers want to do with the talent and the brand. Simple as that. You know what I mean? And it's like no matter where you at,
right?
If they want to push you, they're going to push you. If they want to make you look like crap, they're going to make it look like crap. Look at the Iconics. They're on both brands. You know what I mean? They look like crap. So it doesn't matter where you are nowadays. It just the creative is making people look like crap. All right, let me see. Multi's asking. Okay, ask Chris and ask Evan. I'll let you go first, Evan. I think when it comes to the Superstar Shakeup, they have too many talents, change brands. What do you think? I'll actually let you answer that. I'll answer very shortly afterwards, Evan, but I'll let you do the bulk of that.
I don't think it's a talent issue. I mean, do they really have more talent now than what they did back in the day of the draft? No. It's even worse. Back when the draft, there wasn't no network. It was just WWE 24/7, but it's not really about the talent. If you have more talent and you have more content to show us. So therefore, it's the creative is the problem. It's not the talent.
Right.
I mean, granted, times change and it's a cycle. It's just the Iconics forgot they were heels. Everyone was cheering for them. They losing.
Right.
I mean, Daniel Bryan, I know he's kind of hurt. They don't want to overwork AJ. I get all that. The women's division, you got Lacey, okay, but Becky's on both brands. So who really gets... And another thing is logic with the titles. What happened to rematch clauses? Brock doesn't get one. Daniel Bryan doesn't get one. Okay.
Well, they don't have that anymore. They don't have that anymore. When the McMahons took over, Shane said that the rematch clauses are done.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it's like, what is the logic of defending the belt? How does Lacey Evans become number one contender for the title? But
yeah, she beat Natalia, but yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like people just download and they can challenge.
Right.
So, and all the short, it's not the talent, it's the booking, it's the creative. Nothing's ever going to go perfect, but you got to book people better. You got to book matches better, make things set.
Yeah.
I miss the top 10 contenders list. We should get them in the magazine.
Yes, WCW, absolutely. The top 10.
Remember
I
that?
love it. Absolutely love the top 10. Absolutely. Kimbo says Apollo should sit out on his contract. Yeah, man, I think Apollo, when he was Uhaa Nation in the Indies, he was fantastic, man. He was super over. I think now here's the thing. Someone like a Dean Ambrose, I don't see, if he went to like AW, ROH or whatever, I don't really see much draw in Dean Ambrose as far as like, oh, Dean is here, that's going to bring some people. But I think that Cruz will be a bigger draw because WWE didn't exhaust him. You know what I mean? There was so much left to be desired when it comes to Apollo Crews. So if he went to like an AEW, I think he was sore because people would be like, okay, so this is what we've been waiting for, especially when people were following him as Uhaa Nation. This is what we've been waiting for. This is what we are getting now, finally, about time. Ambrose has been Intercontinental champ a bunch of times, WWE champ, tag team champ, U.S. champ. So WWE, he's had a very impressive resume with WWE. So I would be more intrigued to see Cruz than someone like a Dean Ambrose go to AEW. Ryan's asking, I thought WWE owned the rights to the Undertaker name and gimmick, so how is he using outside of WWE? He's still contracted by WWE. Well, he's I think they were using Mark Calloway for a lot of stuff, or the Dead Man or something like that. But I know he's had it since 1990. So a lot of times with the contracts from 30 years ago, there might be some clauses in that and stuff like that. I know it's a lot stricter now. So yeah, I don't know. I know that's a WWE thing, but I don't think he was like 100% away from WWE now. So that's the reason why Vince was like, what are you doing? And he has more of an exclusive deal again. So, but it's easy to do. I mean, like, you can use the Dead Man. You can the Phenom. Those are just, I don't know. I don't even think those are trademarked. They could be. They may be, but you can trademark if the Dead Man isn't trademarked. You can easily use stuff like that. But as far as the Undertaker's concerned, he's still a WWE guy. Let's see any other Chris questions. Hope you all enjoyed my Goldust speech promo in the form of Doth Their Oath, Babo. Yeah, Chris keeping Dusty alive. We taking over. I love you. I love it, guys. Great comments. Absolutely great comments. All right. And the Iconics keep losing, but they're champs. Yeah. I mean, which is why Sasha was upset, because she wanted to do something actually with the titles. So I don't see the correct answer for Roman Reigns. Did I stomp y'all? I see Cody say WrestleMania 31. Oh, there you go, Mo. There you go. Good job. Survivor Series 2015 defeated. Speaking of Ambrose, we defeated him in the tournament final. This former WWE wrestler was nicknamed Puke. This former WWE wrestler was nicknamed Puke.
He's gonna puke.
He's gonna puke. Let's see any more Ask Chris questions. Yes, Lexi always bringing it. With all of the untapped female roster talent, do you think that it's an image preference with regards to top bookings? What do you think will change when VKM retires? I'll let you do that, Evan.
We just had a long talk about this on my show, maybe an hour segment. It is a preference. Like it or not, look at the history. We just at the 45 plus years, we're just getting our first black WWE champion. Do not hit me up about The Rock. Southern Stone, no. I'm not the person to hit me up about The Rock. Neither is Southern Stone. Our first black WWE champion after 45 plus years. Now, have we had a black women's champion? Jacqueline, I think, once. But it is preference.
And Jazz. Jazz was champ, too.
And how it is. Vince like beef. I like the big dudes. I like them big and strong. Vince was never a tag team guy. Look at the women. All the divas, everybody that had a big run, white, blonde hair, blood-green eyes. Look at it. The exception of leader, anybody that got a long run, you got to look at it like that. Granted, Becky, okay, she just started. Sasha, quick title run. But the long title runs, the ones the machine went through, look at it through history, was the white, blonde hair, Barbie doll looking chicks, probably traded company. Look at, okay, this is what people more so relate to. This is what I like. Like back in the day, most of the champions were big, muscular, muscle men. Took forever for the Bret Harts to the Michaels, even the CM Punks and Daniel Bryans and Kofi's to be champions. No way Kofi, no way Punk, no way DB would have been champ during the 80s and early 90s, even in WCW. We know that. So it is a preference title. Sad to say it, Asuka should be champ. She's not, because she can't speak, she can't speak all that well English because she's Japanese. Not making it a race thing, just going by facts, because everything isn't about race. So sadly, WWE, it is politics and it's preference. And it's not just me saying it, being professional media and being a fan of over 25 plus years. It's not Featherstone saying it. It's because we know people in the know. We know people that work in WWE. And we talk to people that we will not mention, and it's true.
Yeah. Yep. I think I will say that I think I'll address the second part of your question, Alexi. What do you think will change when Vince retires? I think it'll be more of a Triple H model, which I like the Triple H model from what I see. I'm a big fan of NXT.
Yeah.
So if we see NXT on the main roster, I think that would bring people in. And more saga, more intrigue, more drama. I mean, look at Johnny Gargano and Ciampa. I mean, that whole feud lasted like 2 years almost. You know what I mean? And I love stuff like that. If Ciampa was, if he wasn't injured, it would most likely been Gargano, and Gargano finally getting his moment against Ciampa. He did, against Cole, but, and I think that match was fantastic. But it would have been more emotionally connected if he would have won against Ciampa. It seemed like they were heading that way. And, 2 years almost in the making. And it was, we need that type of story, man, when it comes to that. I think it killed it 3 hours, 2 hours, and brings Shivani back and saying, we got to go, we're out of time. Give us cliffhangers. We've got to go. We're out of time. Yeah, and
we gotta go.
We need those cliffhangers, man. Kill the 3 hours. I don't think they'll do that because of digital media and the money they get and stuff like. I get it, but it's like once you kill, that's the reason why I typically I enjoy SmackDown more than Raw, because it's a whole hour that that's just not dragging. A lot of times I like when Nitro was 3 hours, I liked it because there was, of course you had the cruiserweight section typically, but, and of course, yes, Darren Drozdoff, good job guys. But their cliffhangers were so good at the end, man, that I absolutely loved it. But typically on Raw, the final hour is the lowest. And so people aren't staying around, for the third hour. During the Nitro days, man, the third hour was blazing, man. And I absolutely loved it. All right, so what do you think about how do you think that type of booking plays on the psyche of talent, just such as Natalya, Naomi, and Ember Moon? With all of them, man, I think it really boils down to an oversaturation of talent. Them not being able to book everybody all at once to be somebody. And that's unfortunate, man. Like I said, you got to milk this brand stuff, man. You have two separate shows that you can have two completely separate people or rosters, but you're still like cross-branding Lars and for a while cross-branding Ricochet and Black. And it's like, why are you doing this stuff? You have people in the weights and waiting for just their opportunity, which you can capitalize on it, but it's unfortunate, man. I'm not a fan of it. All right, Kimbo's asking, why must champions lose to get a feud started? Man, you are on it today. It's like whoever wins the title, they would most likely lose the next week. Kimbo, you get the applause for the night, sir. Kimbo, you are on it. You're hitting it, man. Couldn't have said any better than that. I think that is absolutely stupid. Absolutely stupid.
Think about timing. Raw is 3 hours. Triple H wants it to be 2. It won't go back to 2 for a minute. Like I said, waiting for you when he was in New York, I was in the bus terminal in New York City for a Monday Night Raw and a Cosby Show episode. Didn't seem long at all. Avengers Endgame is 3 hours and 2 minutes. And I guarantee you, when we all go see it, it will not feel nearly as long as watching Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
So, and we were at G1. G1 was 5 hours.
But it was a very solid show, though.
And right, but then it still, granted, the end, the last hour or so, but
dude,
overall,
I was at speaking of ROH, I was at Masters of the Craft. They came to Columbus 2 weekends ago. Yeah, 2 weekends ago. And it was a 3-hour show. And I was like, oh, wow, this is the last match. Like, it was like 10 o'clock, and it started at 7. And it was a very smooth, solid show. And I really, just because, I agree. I mean, I prefer the 2-hour method just to give cliffhangers, and let the 3 hours be for the pay-per-views. But it's like, man, if you're going to have a 3-hour show, I think you have an opportunity to make it clean. But yeah, there's so many jagged edges in a Raw episode typically, man, that it doesn't leave me wanting more. I want cliffhangers. Cody's asking, I think Big E is going to turn on Kofi and help KO. No, I don't think so. No need to turn him. Ryan's asking what I think of Wolfe going from SmackDown to NXT UK, and should WWE do this more often?
I'm glad.
That is great. See that?
That's great.
That right there is exactly this type of stuff that should happen. That is the type of stuff that builds stars. Like, good and well that Alexander Wolfe was going to do nothing. He actually, I read the tweet. It seemed like he was leaving WWE, but he goes to NXT UK. Great way to reset, his career. He can actually be a star there and not be a small fish in a big pond. I think that is a fantastic move. I think that Nikki Cross should go too. Sports Huddle was talking about that. Yeah, Killian Dain and Nikki Cross. I think that speaking of putting two people together, they're married. Killian Dain and Nikki Cross is. So it's like they just got married. Actually, I think a few months ago. Let me get the January. So just a few months back they got married. So that would be a perfect time to, there you go. There's a couple. Put them in NXT UK. Killian Dain, of course, can be one of the top guys easily in NXT UK. Easily. Nikki Cross can easily be a women's champ, feuding with Toni Storm and things like that. Easy. Like when Balor came and beat Jordan Devlin, I think that was just, I think that was fantastic. And he actually looked like a top guy. He had that top guy look to him. When he did that, I think it was fantastic in the UK special. So, let's see what else we got. All right, so I think that's.
Did we already say? Because my internet's acting out. Did we already mention about Angle and Taker, about them actually dropping out?
Dropping out of what?
Starcast?
No. We haven't talked about that yet. But I talked about Taker a little bit as far as just Vince wanting him to.
Okay, I did hear that.
Stick
I'm
true.
getting speculations that they both might have dropped out of StarCast, but I'm not sure.
I think that Taker's still there. I think Taker's still in. Yeah. From what I know, Taker's still in. He has commitments. He's fulfilling his commitments and then being exclusive from then on, like after May, I think. All right, this former WWE referee was a member of the Hart Foundation. All right, so let's address Raw and SmackDown. I had a few notes for Raw and SmackDown. Just a couple of things that I want to tackle real quick about Raw and SmackDown. Couple of things. Couple of notes that I put. Good job, Ryan. Dangerous. Danny Davis. All right, so we talked about Robert Roode. We talked about Ricochet losing. We talked about Andrade and Vega back on SmackDown due to Fox Sports wanting a more Latino presence come their move in October, right. Which I'm cool with. I'm cool with that.
We know the real reason.
Well, that is a reason. That's a legitimate reason. I mean, we know that both are married and they want to, be with their spouses, but the Fox Sports is the Fox Sports is also one of the reasons why they want to move them, which makes sense. I'm cool with it. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
They want a more Latino presence for the Deportes, and I'm cool with that.
Right. Can anybody, with Ray being on Raw, WWE still has yet to find, I guess, air quote, the next Ray, or find the next person that's been able to have that grapple and that effect on the Latino Hispanic crowd like Ray and Eddie. They tried it with Del Rio. They tried it with the Sin Caras, all 4 or 5 of them, the Villano 5s and 6s. I'm being sarcastic with those. Now they're trying again, with, do you think they can finally get a real grasp of that demographic that's been suffering since Left Knee was gone, Mysterio, since Eddie passed away?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they haven't, and like you said, they tried. I think they could with Mysterio. I think Mysterio moving to Raw makes no sense to me. He's not going to be a top guy. He's going to be a mid card. He's going to be fed to people, which Mysterio. And this here's the sad part: when Mysterio left WWE, he blew up. Like his career became revived. He was doing some great indie work. His brand was huge, and his brand was so big that it was he got huge pops when he came back for the Royal Rumble. And now the sad part is he was huge. His brand was big when he was away from WWE. WWE has tarnished Mysterio in the little time that he's been back. That come January when he goes in the WWE, I mean when he's in the Royal Rumble, most likely, people just be like, "Oh, that's just Rey Mysterio." You know what I mean? It's like, I literally had to scratch my head, but that was perfect timing. Scratch your head moment, this Rey Mysterio is proof positive of what WWE can do to a brand individually, and it's really sad. It's really sad because Mysterio was a brand. He was huge, man. When he came away from WWE, it was great. And now he's just lost in the shuffle, unfortunately. And then Viking Experience is now the Viking Raiders. So there you go with that. Oh, man, that actually made me chuckle. The finishing move is the
Viking Experience.
Yes, but the finishing move is called the Viking Experience, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, okay. You still want to keep that, Vince. You still want to keep that little bit of Viking experience. And it just sounds like some type of X-rated film, man. I just don't like anything about that. But the Viking Raiders is redundant, but it sounds better than the Viking Experience. They're just really trying to avoid the word war, and yeah, I don't know, man. It just I kind of see them as because of these name jumbles, and I'm sorry because I've interviewed Hanson on the show before. Nice guy. I've talked to him in person, man. super duper nice guy. And so it's like, I've said this before, man, anybody who I've interviewed on the show and I've talked to personally, I got a soft spot for. I want them to succeed, and I feel like that with Hanson. And man, I mean, even with War Machine, man, I think War Machine was one of my favorite tag teams in Ring of Honor. They were doing fantastic, man, and I just kind of see them at Ascension level soon. I think that they'll kind of, they'll kind of push them like AOP for a while, and then just like AOP, they're just kind of going to back burner. I just don't see much with what they'll do with them.
What is the little micro machine dudes? The little big heavy, little heavy, what you call them? Little Tonka truck.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not sure.
Machinery, them.
Oh, the
heavy
group, the heavy machinery. Yeah.
They look like the 4-kid versions of the War Raiders, of the War Experience. What you call them, War Machine, the Machine Raiders, whatever it is. I don't know.
I like heavy machinery. I like heavy machinery. I just don't think that they are main roster. Like I think moving. I really like Otis Dojovic, or I think he's just Otis now. But I love him. He's fun. Tucky. Like I love the whole. Like I love characters, and I think he's fantastic, especially when he does the worm. But I just moving them to the main roster was just a bad call, man. It just makes no sense. Like give them NXT opportunity. They were just starting to build themselves in NXT, and then you move them to the main roster. And they haven't even given themselves a chance to really solidify their character. I mean, themselves yet on the NXT brand. Makes no sense. Lex is asking, given the recent media coverage of CM Punk doing a surprise appearance, do you believe he will re-sign with WWE, or is he entertaining AEW? He's for those who don't know, there's speculation, and I saw the video. It was an indie show in Milwaukee. He was maxed. He ran out from outside of the room where the ring was. He came in, did a GTS and left. He was completely masked from head, like clothes on from head to toe, like no skin showing. Maybe his hands, I don't remember, but face, body, totally completely clothed. And the speculation is that it was CM Punk. I don't know, maybe a favor for somebody. I don't see this going very far. He's made it very clear. I mean, unless he's having that itch, which CM Punk, man, he's been a mark for the business for so long, man, and so I can see him having that itch. I just don't see him committing himself, especially to WWE. And as far as AEW is concerned, I can see him being an announcer, and then having an angle which causes like a one-time match or something like that. I can see, like, for instance, it would be perfect if, like, Pac would be the perfect person to go against Punk, because Pac is a really good heel, great promos, love to hate him, and it would make perfect sense for Pac to cut a promo, look over to CM Punk. You got people washed up like him, so far and so forth, so on and so forth. Punk he kind of brushes it off, and then he keeps talking about it week after week after week. He pie faces him or paintbrushes him, one of those things that causes him to get upset. Then you have CM Punk versus Pac. So I think that would be really cool for AEW. I don't see him being a full-time wrestler or something like that, but a one-off like that would be – I think that CM Punk would be more interested in something like that. And then here's the next trivia question. Dolph Ziggler defeated Blank to win his first IC and US title. So he beat this person to win both of his championships. All right, so that was Raw and SmackDown. What grades would you give both? PNP Nation. Drop your comments in the PNP gallery and Raw and SmackDown. For me, Raw a C, SmackDown a B minus. The KO turn was, that was, you could see that a mile away.
You saw that.
Yeah.
Coming.
Yep.
I mean, your SmackDown was better than Raw.
Yeah, it was.
She like Robert Roode's mustache.
Right.
The fact that Joe keep losing.
Yeah. GHP says Raw C minus, SmackDown C. Ryan says Raw C, SmackDown B. Thanks, Cody. Cody says better than any angle WWE has came up with lately regarding the CM Punk thing. I would be really intrigued with that. I've been very vocal of me not being a CM Punk fan, but I would be really interested in that. I think again, a really good face takes a really good heel, and I think that Pac would be a really good person to feud with CM Punk for a one-off. There were a lot of pregnancies in Iowa last night. Yeah, Cody, that was funny. That was as much as I think that we're seeing too much of Corey Graves. I think he was on fire last night. There was a couple moments that I was chuckling. Raw C plus and SmackDown is B. Mo says Wild Boy B and B for both. And of course, since this will be since you see this awesome display right here, we will see. All right. So let's get into the flavor of the week coming up. Here we go.
It is now time for the flavor of the week.
All right, so we're going to talk real quick about the Shield. The Shield. So, the Shield's done. Ambrose is leaving WWE, or perhaps he's leaving in-ring competition. I know. I think Dean Ambrose would be a really good scouter, a really good recruiter with Regal. I think that would be great. We saw that. We saw some pictures of that possibly happening during WrestleMania weekend at an indie show. So with the Shield being gone, just a really quick career retrospective of the Shield. As far as their career retrospective is concerned, overall, you can see that on the Shield special. They showed a lot of videos during their time. So here's the deal for the PNP Nation. What overall grade, and you can drop that on there too. What overall grade? Thanks, GHP. I've been waiting for the Cool Down Music Hall show. So that's awesome, man. What grade would you give the Shield overall? Just drop that in there real quick. What grade? Hey, the Thing, man. Welcome to the show. First time viewer. Welcome to the show, man. We appreciate you. Welcome the Thing, PNP Nation. Welcome the Thing. Glad you joined us. Yeah. So, what grade would you give the Shield? Kimbo says A plus. All right. Overall A plus. Real quick, Evan. Cody says B minus. Their original one's Magic, but it was never the same anytime they got back after that. The Thing says to give the Shield a 5 out of 10. By the way. Thanks for the subscribe. All the PNP stuff is right there. Perfect timing. This is a perfect timing evening. There you go. All the stuff. Twitter. There's the Patreon.
Yep.
Do all that good stuff. There's the YouTube. All right. What do you say? Evan?
Yeah, I give him a B plus.
B plus.
They had a great look, show. Yeah, great look, great music. The only reason why they're not an A is because they didn't really have any formidable opponents that was on their level that they really could. They didn't really have any legit foes.
Got it.
You got to have a great villain to be a good hero.
Yeah.
And, I mean, what he fought the Wyatt family twice, and he dropped the ball with that.
They did.
He fought old
Yeah, they did.
Evolution. After that, it was just a bunch of screamers. But, I mean, overall, the show as a whole, B+. They had better feuds. I give them an A. You know, and,
I think that's a good assessment.
From mercenaries to the heavies to SWAT team and.
Yeah, I think that's a good assessment. I think I would give them I say solid B. Their initial run was really good. They were unstoppable. The Wyatt family thing was great. I think that should have been a Mania match. They dropped the ball with that. I like the Evolution feud too. Because of things outside of their ability, Kurt Angle became an honorary member, because of that. But the other incarnations, I like the last one, like the final one when they just went against the last pay-per-view. There was a feel to that I liked. But other than that, solid B. I think good run, good overall. All right, let me read these before we end the show here. Mo says B, Ryan says B, Juan says B plus, and now it's below the NWO. Thing says C. Sports Idol says A plus. Wild Boy says A. GHP says B. Tammy says A minus. Lexi says C. They were straight cornball at times. I agree with that. All right. I think that's it for now as far as I can see. Baby Shaq says B. Yes, Dolph beat Kofi for the Intercontinental title and the U.S. title. I'm glad you remembered that. That would have been a cliffhanger there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a fantastic show. I really appreciate you all. We managed to get all this packed into Plan A. Big thanks to my guy, Lance Archer. Lance Hoyt, I know him as Lance Hoyt is his real name, but he goes by Lance Archer in New Japan with Suzuki-gun. Ladies and gentlemen, for 369 episodes, I really hope you had enjoyed this show. I really, really enjoyed this show. Please drop the like for the show. And, subscribe to all those things up there. Leave a comment as well. I really, really appreciate it. On behalf of Evan Tech Prout, I'm Chris Featherstone. Please enjoy your week of wrestling. God bless, and always remember, I'll do it for you. Have a good night, everybody. God bless. Bye-bye.